Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Today is part 3 of 9 in my, what I would say, election extravaganza. Currently, at this particular moment, we are discussing East North Central, which is the states Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin. We're going to be discussing the governor's elections, Senate elections, House elections, and ballot initiatives for all of these 5 states. I hope you enjoy watching this, and let's get started. First off, Illinois. There's plenty of stuff to do. Governor's election, Senate election, House elections, and ballot measures to discuss. And there are a bunch of other things that have to be accounted for. First off, the governor's election. Jay Pritzker is running for re-election. Last time around he won by 17 points. Currently is leading polling by about 15 to 18 against Trump-endorsed Darren Bailey. It's not going to be close. It's going to be about 15 to 20 points. Then again, this is the state of Illinois we're talking about. Whoever wins is a corrupt SOB. Yeah, notice the Senate controversy in 2010, where the governor decided that selling the vacant Senate seat to whoever paid the most was a good idea. I think it was a Democrat, and he got indicted by the FBI for that. Senate seat, Tammy Duckworth. So, talking about that Senate seat, right? So, in 2010, Mark Kirk won it. It was a Republican who won it by about 2 points. This was the seat that was auctioned off. And quite particularly, how would I say that, a very unpopular decision. I think even in Illinois people don't like this kind of obvious corruption, so Mark Kirk won. And then in 2016 it got flipped again. Duckworth won by 15 points. Currently she's leading by 16 in RCP. Could be a little more than that. It's going to be a safe victory for Tammy Duckworth. I don't want to say anything derogatory in this particular case because, frankly, racist people don't deserve attention, in my opinion. And Tammy Duckworth, where she says, I will vote no on any Senate or any appointed position if the person is white, I think that's a very racist position to hold. And frankly, unbecoming of a senator. Then again, we're talking about Democrats, so there's never going to be any form of consequences for their anti-whiteism. First district, this is southern Chicago. Bobby Rush is retiring. Jonathan Jackson is seeking to overcome him. He is actually not an incumbent, so I'm just going to remove that section. He's currently leading by about 30 points, going to be more than 20. I don't really care what kind of margin is going to be. It's going to be a safe Democrat victory. Robin Kelly against Thomas Lynch. Safe victory. Not much to worry about. Delia Ramirez against Justin Bureau. Again, safe victory. Jesus Garcia, safe victory. Mike Quigley, safe victory. This is actually the first... so, Illinois 6. This is actually the first district that can be classified as a toss-up. RCP has it as such. Caston has it as plus... 538 has it Caston plus 8. It's not going to be Caston plus 8. I can tell you that. So it's Sean Caston against Keith Pacao. And, well, at the moment I would say it's a toss-up, less than 5 points. But I do give Caston a 3-1 margin of victory because of the sympathy vote. As you may or may not have heard, his daughter recently passed away due to a heart attack, I think it was. Wow. I'm not going to say anything further on that. So, sorry for your loss, Congressman Caston. And hope everyone else in the family is okay. 7th District, Danny Davis, he's running unopposed, so easy. Raja Krishnamurthy. Yeah, for the 8th district, safe victory. It did move a bit further towards the Republican column, this district, as by the redistricting. It's going to be winning about 15 to 20 points, somewhere in that particular ballpark. 9th district, Jan Shakovsky, safe victory. Brad Snyder over in the 10th, safe victory. Bill Foster over in the 11th, it's going to be a likely victory. I think it's between 5 and 10 points. District moves significantly towards the Republican column. I didn't actually write the PVI change down for this one, but it shifted significantly. 12th district, Mike Boss, this incoming Republican for Southern Illinois. Safe Republican district. The 13th, this is actually kind of a newly created district. Shifted R+8 to D+7. This is the hideously ugly tentacle down in the center of Illinois. Budzinski is currently leading by about 3 to 9 points, depending on who you're asking. I think it's a toss-up district, particularly due to the wave environment. I think it's a toss-up. The 14th, Lauren Underwood. She's leading by 9. District moved a bit towards the Republican column. I think this is a narrow victory for Lauren Underwood, and it could potentially be flip, depending on the size of the Republican wave. If it's an R+3 environment, she's gonna hold on by about 2-3 points. If it's gonna be R+5, then yes, she's going down. But R+5, I think that's a little too much. 15th district, Mary Miller. This is the one that was combined together with Rodney Davis, I think. So this is the one that's central Illinois. So this is the one that's basically a horizontal slice with a tentacle reaching into it. Safe Republican district. 16th, this is the Northern Central district. This is basically the one Adam Kinzinger and Darren LaHood was combined together. Safe Republican seat. And I think it's funny that Adam Kinzinger, being the lapdog of the Democratic Party, as a Republican, getting kicked out of his service. Particularly his service regarding the January 6th scam. And then just gets kicked to the curb. I think that's funny. I think it's completely deserved. Thank you very much. Good riddance. 17th district. This is the one from Cherry Bustos. She's decided to retire because she knows what is coming. Eric Sorensen against Esther King, and this district is currently leading Republican and is going to flip. I think for safety, I'm going to write it down as a toss-up because there is simply a lot of things that can happen between now and November 8th, so I'd like to keep a little bit of a safety margin on it. For now it's a toss-up. Could be that in 2 weeks I'm going to move it to the Republican side. But then, in my final prediction in 2 weeks, I'm going to actively say this is going to be the number that I'm predicting it to be. And I'm going to tell you already, as a little spoiler, I think the Democrats are going to have less than 200 seats in the House. That is something that I can guarantee you. So, quick summary. Pritzker re-elected, Duckworth re-elected. The 6th, the 13th, and the 17th are currently toss-ups. And I think at least one of the three is going to go Republican. There is one ballot measure, and this is effectively a constitutional right to allow people to join a union. It also prohibits any interference, negation, or diminishing of unions on the behalf of the state legislature. Sorry, I can't speak today. It also would indicate that every single worker in the state is required to join a union. And we also know that in the financial department, the unions are the main contributing donor for all political parties in the state. And they support the Democratic Party. So the more sinister man in me would tell that this is an a plot to effectively strengthen the Democrat hold in the state. And that is what I think this is actually the plan. Furthermore, this passed among partisan lines. We know why. And it's not really a surprise. Following the state of Indiana, now we have just the Senate election and House to worry about. Todd Young against Thomas McDermott. Todd Young, he won last time around by 10 points. He's now incumbent running again. Currently is polled above 15 point victory. I think it's going to be between 15 and 20 points. It's going to be a little more margin than Dan Coates had in 2010. So Democrats hope that this is going to be a flip. It's not going to happen, I can tell you that. First district, Mike Mervyn versus Jennifer Roof, Green. This is a pure toss-up. I cannot make it any better or worse. Currently, yeah, I don't think this is going to be a big surprise to anyone. Gary, Indiana has been moving Republican over the years, and there's really nothing that Democrats can offer to improve the particular city. So people are starting to drift to the Republicans because of it. And I think this is exactly the opposite of what Chicago is regarding voting patterns. Second district, this is Jackie Walorski's district. Recently she passed away due to a car crash. So my condolences to the family. Rudy Hakim. He was one of her staffers. And he was granted the nomination by the Republican Party. He's going to win safely. Jim Banks over at the third. Safe victory, not even bother talking about. Jim Beard over at the fourth. Safe victory. Victoria Sparks, this district moves slightly towards the Republican side. Due to redistricting, she's going to win re-election. Greg Pence, this is the older brother of Mike Pence, the former vice president. He's going to win handily. 7th district, Andre Carson over at Indianapolis. He's going to win. 8th district, Larry Buxton. He's going to win. And the 9th district. So Trey Hollingsworth decided to retire. And Aaron Houchin, she's going to win to succeed him. Yeah. Safe Republican district. So this is basically how it's going to look like. 2-0 Republican majority in the Senate, 7-1 in the House for the Republican majority, with the first district being a toss-up. State of Michigan. There's a lot to do on the ballot. No Senate race this time around. Governor Whitmer against Tudor Dixon. Now, this state had a really, really messy primary. More than 10 Republican candidates were kicked off the ballot because of shenanigans with signatures, in which the Secretary of State decided that these individuals were apparently too strong of a candidate and thus had to be removed from the list. Well, that's the conspiracy theory in me. So, Whitmer won by 10 last time around. This is a race in which Republicans are underestimated by almost 6 points. And if we adjust the aggregate with that 6 points, then we find out that Tudor Dixon is actually leading by 0.5%. RCP, I think, is the most accurate aggregator. They're also the one that invented the polling aggregate. 538 is the Whitmer plus 9. This is a perfect example of 538 deliberately putting their thumb on the scale to try and suppress the political opposition. This is going to be a pure toss-up. It's going to go either way. First district, Jack Bergman. This is the north of Michigan, safe Republican district. John Molenach, safe district. John Gibbs, this is the third one. This is Grand Rapids, He is running up against three-time candidate Hillary Scholten. So this is a district that John Gibbs, he successfully primaried Peter Meyer, one of the impeachment 10. This is a man who worked he worked under the Trump administration, I think, as an assistant to Ben Carson at Housing and Urban Development. So he has executive experience, he has electoral experience. This guy is a powerhouse, and I think Gibbs is favored to win in this particular race. It's gonna be less than 5 points, but I think this is a perfect example of an upset victory. Bill Huizenga over at the 4th, safe district, don't even bother. 5th one, Tim Walberg, again, safe district. The 6th, Debbie Dingell over at Detroit area, 7 Detroit, safe district. The 7th, Alyssa Slotkin against Tom Barrett. So this is a very close district, and this is going to be a bellwether for whether the election was actually a red wave. So currently I think it's a pure toss-up, and I think that Tom Barrett has a outside chance to win. I think it's probably going to be a 40-60 margin, but he can pull it off. The 8th district, Dan Kildee against Paul Young, so this is Flint, Michigan. This district moved towards the Republican side, and I think that this also is a pure toss-up race. A race in which Dan Kildee is favored to win, but he can lose. The 9th, Lisa McClain, this is east side of Michigan, safe Republican district. 10th district, this is a newly created district. John James is running against Carl Marlinga. And, well, you can see in the polling that I have pulled up, Marlinga is leading according to RCP, but they have only one poll, and I think it's a lousy quality poll. And then you have 538 who says that James is leading by 5 points. So I think it's going to be a narrow victory for James. 2 to 5 points. Haley Stevens, this is the kind of district that moved from an R+2 to a D+15, so it's going to be a very easy race for her. Should be 5 to 10 points, maybe a little more than that, depending on what the accuracy of the polling in Michigan is. Now we know Michigan and its polling, it's kind of horrible, so we'll see what it's going to be. 12th district, Rashida Tlaib, safe victory. This one, the 13th, this is Detroit. Brenda Lawrence is retiring, and Sri Thanadar is trying to succeed her. And again, I made the mistake regarding the incumbency. Sorry about that. Safe district. There's some ballot measures that we have to discuss, but now we have a 6-4 Republican majority in which 3 seats are toss-ups, and I think 2 out of 3 are going to be Republican, at least. Governor Whitmer, for now, I think she has an outside chance to be re-elected. She has a chance, I think, about 60-40 incumbency advantage and that kind of stuff. But later down the line in the toss-up video, we're still going to discuss this particular race. 4 ballot measures. The first one is term limits and financial disclosure. So, what happens is that the state legislature wants to change the term limits from 3 terms in the state house and 2 in the Senate to 12 years of combined service. This passed unanimously, and it also would make sure that the candidates and state executives must disclose their income, assets, liabilities, lobbyists, gifts, and that kind of stuff. So it's an anti-corruption measurement. hopefully is going to prevent corruption, but then again, lobbying and corruption, they have their ways to get into the entire system, so don't be surprised if it's somehow manages to wiggle itself back in. Election policy. This is actually a ballot initiative from the people, 425,000 signatures. This basically says changing the voting policies. So the changes that will be made is guaranteeing that overseas ballots are counted if they're postmarked by election day. Problem with this is I can just put in the wrong date of a stamp and dump it in like that, and then it magically is the same. So I think this is a really dumb way of saying it, but I think this is going to be used to introduce shenanigans into the system. So the second one is allowing a side affidavit to use as an alternative to voter ID. Again, why? Everyone has a driver's license. Everyone has a passport. If you fly from Detroit to, let's say, Minneapolis, you have to show your passport over at TSA. So you have a passport. You have a driver's license. So why make this alternative? It's stupid. Legalizing drop boxes for absentee ballots. So again, the shenanigans continue. Expanding early voting. Furthermore, it's establishing a right to vote, which already exists. And then it says without harassment, interference or intimidation, and these terms are not described in the ballot initiative, so I'm thinking this is going to be one of those deliberately unclear amendments, because the definition is not really added to this list. Further, as last, it requires public disclosure of donations from private entities, which includes private citizens. So what it says is, if I get a donation, I have to provide the name of the person who donated to me, I have to provide the number of the financial sum that they've paid me, and probably something like an address and a phone number. So basically it says that you have to dox your donors. And I think that is a really bad way of phrasing election law. And I think election law shouldn't be decided by the voters, it should be decided by the state legislature, the individuals who actually investigate this kind of stuff and actually discuss with bipartisanship the laws that have been made. I think laws shouldn't be made by vote, I think they should have been made by representatives. Because it's their job. Why have representatives? If you want to do the job yourself, then you may as well just make it a direct democracy like it is in Switzerland and have it that way. The third one is the Reproductive Freedom Initiative, 425,000 signatures. It asserts abortion as a right, and it includes that the government cannot make any law restricting any decision that affects pregnancy. So it's prenatal care, it's childbirth, it's care after the birth, it's contraception, it is sterilization, abortion, miscarriage management, infertility care. Basically, it says no restrictions whatsoever, so this is another way of phrasing the legalization of third trimester abortion. And the way it's phrased, it also would require taxpayers to pay for all of this. So when the pro-life side makes the argument saying that the Democrats want to legalize third trimester abortion, they are 100% correct. If they are also saying that Democrats want you to pay for it, that's correct, because every single time the Democrats hold the House, they remove the Hyde Amendment. Every single time Republicans are in control of the House, they add the Hyde Amendment back. And the Hyde Amendment is essentially just saying, hey, the government cannot under any circumstance use taxpayer money to help abortion clinics or provide for abortion. So yes, they're 100% correct when they say that Democrats want abortions to be funded by the taxpayer. Final ballot initiative is the repeal of the Government Emergency Powers Act, 460,000 signatures, and passed among the state legislature. The Republicans passed this, and the reason for this is that the Republicans passed a bill removing this legislation. The governor then vetoed it, and the court stated that Governor Whitmer acted like a tyrant and ordered her to stop with the emergency acts. She refused, so now this is the third try to remove this clearly dictatorial power from the governor. This was instituted as part of the efforts in World War II to create a continuancy in the case of disasters, which clearly can only be managed by individuals that aren't power hungry. So I hope this one passes. It probably will. So we can see that dictatorships in America are not going to be tolerated. And that's a good thing. Now we're moving to the state of Ohio. Basically we're almost done. Yeah, almost done. Governor race, Senate race, ballot measures, and a House race, and a bunch of other things. So, first, Governor DeWine. He is seeking re-election. He's leading by about 18 points in both polls. This is a fun one because Republicans are continuously underestimated in the state of Ohio by 10 points. It's not funny. This is going to be a safe victory for DeWine. I think it's going to be 15 to 20 points. Looking at the trajectory, it's probably going to be even more than that. Senate race. James Vance against Tim Ryan. Vance overperformed polling in the primary by about 6 points. Rob Portman is retiring. He previously won this seat by 17 and 21 respectively. So anyone that tells you that this particular race is going to be somehow a victory for the Democrats, they're lying, simply put. Republican Senate candidates are underestimated by an average of 8 points in the election, 8.5. And what that means is that Vance, according to RCP, is leading by more than 10 points. And even 538 has it as Vance plus 4. And if they write Vance as a victory, then you know sure as hell he's going to win. So for now I'm having a 5 to 10 points. I'm going to probably move it to a safe margin. But then again, I need a little more data for that to be the case. Ohio's 1st district. It moved significantly towards the Democrat side. I think this is going to be a narrow victory for this one. And in the next election, 2024, maybe 2026, I'm going to see it flip. So Steve Cabot, I think he's probably going to retire next time around or the time after that. And then we'll see if a Republican wins without the incumbency advantage. We'll see. Ben Wenstrup, safe district for Ohio's 2nd. Ohio's 3rd, this is Columbus, I think. So safe district, don't even worry about it. 4th district, safe district for Jim Jordan. The 5th district, safe for Bob Paletta. 7th, Bill Johnson, safe district. Sorry, this is the 6th one. 7th district. This is the one in which Bob Gibbs is retiring. He's another one of those impeachment guys. Max Miller is currently leading by about 16 points. I think it's a safe victory. Warren Davidson, safe victory. For the 8th, Marcy Kaptur against Majewski. This is a district that moved from D plus 16 to R plus 6. And this was a district that was horribly designed prior to the redistricting. I think it was even discontinuous, which is technically a violation of the Apportionment Act, but whatever. This moved significantly towards the Republican side. Currently, Capture is leading by 5, and I don't think the scandals are hurting Majewski that much. I think it's a narrow victory for Capture. Depending on the fundraising and the advertisement campaigns, it may actually be a flip. Could be possible. But I'm going to give Capture a chance. A greater than 50% chance of victory. 10th District, Michael Turner. Safe victory. Chantel Brown. She is replacing Marcia Fudge. I don't think it's a surprise that the Democrats are going to win in the urban environment. I kind of forget which city this district is in. I think it's in the north. 12th District, Troy Balderson. Safe. 13th District, this is the one that Tim Ryan was occupying. Well, I think Madison is going to win. And currently the polling looks at it as between 7 to 9 points for her. I think it's correct. It's going to be around that range. Jim David Joyce over at the 14th. Easy victory. 15th District, Mike Carey. Easy victory. So I think that as a summary, the split delegation for the Senate is going to continue. And Mike DeWine is going to win re-election, and the Republicans hold the majority in the House. Ohio's first is staying Republican this cycle. Next cycle, or the one after it, is going to flip. Same goes for the district of Capture, the 9th. But then in reverse. The 13th flips, that's guaranteed. There are two measures, one on law enforcement. Basically it's handing the authority to set bail to the lower courts, set the Ohio Supreme Court. Kind of reeling back on the defund the police movement, so this is good. And then the 18th of the second ballot measure is effectively a citizenship requirement. So on pen and paper, the only thing that it changes is ensuring that you have to be an American to vote, which is a good reassurance, especially in a time where people don't trust elections. We have to do everything to restore confidence. Last state for today, Wisconsin. We have a governor race, we have a Senate race, and we have a House race to go for. House races. Tony Evers against Tim Michaels. In an independent, but relatively irrelevant. Michaels overperformed in a primary. He is well known in the driftless area. And Republicans are underestimated by 5 points in this particular race. I think Michaels is going to win. And it's going to be between 2 to 5 points. Because the governor's race for this state is particularly always a close race. And as the Wisconsin continues to drift further towards the Republican column, I think that he will handily win re-election, but that's going to be 2026, so we'll see in the future. Senate race, Ron Johnson against Mandela Barnes. Johnson is now leading by about 7 points in the aggregate after adjusting for the 4% underestimation. I think it's funny in this regard because in 2010 and 2016 he never led a single poll, and in both cases he won by 4 to 5 points, and now he's leading the polling, so he is going to win, clearly. It's going to be between 5 and 10. It's going to be a much wider victory than the previous two were. First District, Brian Stile, safe victory. Second District, Mark Pocan, for the Democrats, safe district. Third District, this is the only flip for this state. Derek Van Orden against Brad Pfaff. Ron Kine is retiring because he knows that this seat flips. And currently Van Orden is leading in 538 by 5 points. It's going to be more than that, I can tell you now. 4th District, safe Democrat. 5th, Scott Fitzgerald, safe Republican. 6th, Glenn Groffman, unopposed. Tom Tiffany over at the 7th District, safe victory. And the 8th, Mike Gallagher, safe victory. As a summary, Governor will flip, Tim Michels will win, Senator Johnson wins re-election, and Wisconsin 3rd will flip. Thank you kindly for watching. Up next we have West North Central, and that is going to be part 4. Thank you kindly for watching. Feedback is well appreciated down in the comment section, and thank you kindly for watching. Enjoy the remainder of your day.